Hey, what is going on, everyone? Good morning for the folks in the West Coast. Good afternoon in the East Coast and Europe, and I hope you're still awake in Asia. Before we jump in, let me introduce myself. Who am I and why I'm here today? I'm David. I started as a web designer, then learned how to create WordPress website with HTML, CSS, PHP, and that was in the jQuery days. Later, I got sucked into the React and React Native world, so I learned how to build full stack applications for mobile and for web, mostly with the React-based stack of JavaScript, Node, React Native, and so on. At this point, I've transitioned from basic website development to mobile and web application development, and that's going to be a big difference. You'll see it later on the talk. I've mostly built smaller scale stuff for a couple of thousands or maybe tens of thousands of users for small businesses and for startups mostly. I helped dozens of businesses to go from practically zero to the app stores or browsers. Right now, I'm a part-time creator and the COO. I'm responsible for growing the web and mobile aspect of our business, building developer relationships, scaling us to the next level, and trying to provide better solutions and give more value to our partners and clients. Other than that, I'm creating content about how to be a better entrepreneur in the software world. And I'm trying to build my businesses in public because I believe that learning from others and learning by following someone's journey is inspiring and it's helpful for everyone. I too follow dozens of creators on their journey, and I feel that I'm a part of their inner circle sometimes. So yeah, by being active on social media and building in public, I can meet with interesting people and we can support each other. So that's about me. Let's see what makes an app production ready. But to understand what makes it, we should take a look at what is not production readiness. So production readiness is not equals feature completeness. Usually people tend to think that a feature complete stuff and a production ready stuff is the same. I'm going to tell you an example to give you a better understanding about this. An app to be considered feature complete, it has all of its planned or primary features implemented, but isn't yet in its final form due to bugs, stability, or any kind of performance issues, or any kind of UX and marketing issues, or lack of proper UX and marketing. It is considered production ready if it's capable of meeting the demands of its users and its marketing and its business. This includes the ease of usability. This includes reliability and availability. So clean coding in itself won't make an app production ready. Also, your favorite front-end framework in itself won't make an app production ready. And people tend to think that optimization, constant optimization will, but nope. Premature optimization won't make an app production ready. So I mentioned that I'm going to give you a story or an example about the real production readiness. So let's start with a story about a client of mine a couple of years ago who went bankrupt. Let's see why and how. So a few years ago, I was building a mobile app for a client with my team of 5. We've been 3 developers, a designer, a QA engineer. It was a mobile app built in React Native, a backend running on Amazon ECS with Node and Express. We've had a web admin too. It was built with React. It was a medium complexity application. And as I said, it was with my team of 5. You can imagine I felt like living the time of my life at that time, started building my own agency for the first time. But well, that's a topic for another time. So we delivered everything in time according to client requests. And at least they said that we did pretty much great work. Then what could have happened there? As I said, they went bankrupt. So something must have to happen. Well, the app worked well, but there was no customer support. There was no email onboarding for users. And the user retention, because of this, was pretty much 0. So we thought that the app is ready for production. And in fact, the app was ready for production, but not the business. We thought it's ready to show it to the public because we've built out every important feature the client asked for. But in practice, no one cared about the features of the application. No user cared about it because they forgot about the application immediately after they registered. And if they had any question, like I said, there was no one to ask from. There was no customer support. If the user had any problems, they could only ask like in a hidden email address somewhere on the settings /about screen. So it was like hidden deep in the menus. So that's it. They've tried for a long time. And we've built out new features. Like every time we thought that this is gonna make it work, and or this feature is gonna make it work. Nope. We've always just built features, and we didn't know at that time. The client didn't know at that time that what the users are really need. So there's so much in releasing an app for small teams or indie devs outside of coding. And this is what we're going to resolve in the next 20-ish minutes. So now that we understand what not makes an app production ready, and you've got a grasp of what could happen if we don't take care of business and marketing goals, it's time to discuss what to do to reach a level where we can safely go to production and go to public. Usually, unfortunately, a development process starts by jumping headfirst into VS Code, at least for small teams or indie devs. They are setting up the project, trying out the latest and greatest front-end frameworks, carefully setting up ESLint and Prettier and so on. Yeah, there's obviously a need for a linter. There's obviously a need for pre-commit Git hooks and similar stuff, but there's a thing or two to do before you even open up your IDE. In fact, before you even switch on your computer. Well, so let's see how a product development process should look like instead. We should always start with discovering the business needs in an ideal situation instead of jumping headfirst into coding. It doesn't matter if it's for a client or if it's for yourself, but first you always want to start learning all about the market, the target customers, your client if you're working for a client. So this way you can learn what the business and their users need and not what the client asks for. Because I've said in my story previously, it could be completely two different things. The client asks for something and the user's needs. Sometimes it doesn't match at all. So always start with consulting. Next steps, there's one thing a business needs prior to design and development, and that is a strategy. Brand strategy, marketing strategy, business strategy, etc. This way you can figure out what the market really needs and on what features should we focus on while we are developing the product. Where could we reach the users? Where are the target users hanging out, etc. And now it's time to start design sprints. Now it's time to start development sprints. Open up VS Code and start spamming the keyboard. And when you're finished with that, going live. That there's no description needed here. The sweet flavor of hitting deploy to production button. You can sit back and relax now. Or not, we'll see it later. So what's in those stages I've mentioned previously? Did you think about these? Did you think about onboarding, error handling, customer support? That's like most people forget about handling errors properly. Like I'm not talking about a try catch. I'm talking about showing the users that something happened and how can they resolve it, or is it really their problem? You have to think about UX, like empty states and CRM. Again, it's it's an interesting and important thing. You wanna keep track of your clients, of your customers, and you wanna keep track of what they need to keep them on your platform. Let's jump into these topics. Security. One of the most important aspect of being production ready, obviously. There's nothing that is non-hackable. There's going to be a problem with your stuff, I guarantee this, but you can do everything in your power to minimize these risks. Let's start by using environmental variables. It's like so many people forget about this, but it's like the first thing, because when you start developing a new product and trying to do something new from tutorials or documentation, sometimes you forget about using environment variables and you just hard code the API keys or secrets into your application, because you can think that, okay, I can deal with this later. Now just quickly spin up this API and when it's going to work, I just switch out from hard coding to .env files. Nope, you won't. You will forget it. I guarantee that. So use environmental variables from zero. Also generate hashes for secret envs, like for JWT secrets. People sometimes, instead of just writing one line into their terminal, like one word with two modifiers to generate a new random hash, they instead just write something like a random long string, super secret string, long enough password. Why? It's like faster to just generate something. Also, don't forget to use different variables for different stages. Set up SSL, schedule auto backups to your database, and use the available security settings of the platform. Use row-level security on Postgres. Use security rules with Firebase, etc. And don't commit env files to public repos. I learned it when I first experimented with .env files. Fast forward 2 days, I've got a $3,000 Amazon bill. Well, they've helped me. They were pretty helpful, and I understand my issues. So I haven't had to pay that bill, but my soul just literally left my body when I first saw that. And all that because I've committed my AWS secrets in .env files to a public Git repo. Well, you have to learn this too. So let's move on to user engagement. Don't forget that the users are not there to figure out how the application works. You have to lead them with onboarding screens on mobile, send them 2 emails per week for the first 3 weeks about tips, tricks, give them some value, give them something to return for. That's it. That's kind of the minimum of what you should do. Send 2 emails per week for the first 3 weeks, tips, tricks, value, and they're going to return or unsubscribe and block you. But either way, if they unsubscribe, they wouldn't be interested even if you won't send them emails. So set up your CRM, integrate your CRM to authentication to make it easier to know what your users are doing, how to reach out to them if it's needed, what stage they are when using the application. Are they subscribed users or just free users? Is there any chance that they want to subscribe later? Empty and error states, meaningful empty and error states. These are forgotten so many times. These are great places to increase user engagement and help users to take action. So, for example, if you have a note-taking application and your user just registered, opened the application for the first time, you don't want to show them a completely empty screen because they're just gonna leave the application. Instead, you want to direct them to create their first to-do item. You can use like graphics on the empty state. You can use bigger buttons on the middle of the screen, or you can even start without dropping them into an empty screen and dropping them directly into creating their first to-do item. That's like merging onboarding screens and meaningful empty states together. Now let's move on to SEO. SEO is still important in 2022, and it's going to stay important for so long. And SEO is important even if your marketing strategy is mostly paid ads. If you have a mobile app, you can still benefit from SEO. Sometimes I hear from people that they have a mobile app, so they cannot SEO it. Well, first, there's App Store search optimization. That's one thing. And the other is you can create an informative landing page. You can still create a blog. You can still create content to the internet, even if you have a mobile app. Basics of SEO that you will need is keyword research with Google, Ahrefs, competition research, look out for listing sites. You have to think about your content beforehand. There's a bunch of great resources about SEO. Ahrefs, they have pretty much a whole blog about SEO and keyword research. If you do those, that's like the easiest and a completely free way to get started with SEO. Also, if you are looking into diving more deeper, there's a specifically SEO for SaaS and SEO for developers by Monica Land. She's doing the blogging for devs community too. What else? Lighthouse scores. It's even more important since Google Page Experience update is live since last summer or something. And moving on to marketing, like SEO is almost included in this, but when I talk about marketing here, I'm talking about the real marketing. So in ideal cases, it's not a developer's task in a team, but well, what if you're an indie maker or you're a small team? Like I said previously, 3 devs, 3 front-end devs, 1 back-end dev, and 1 QA or 1 designer. Marketing is one of the best skill to learn right now as a developer. It gives you superpowers. You can not just build your stuff, but you can sell it. And that's just a superpower. So when you're thinking about marketing to launch and make a production ready stuff, think about build email lists by giving away freebies, giving away value for free. If you build an email list that's controlled by you, you can communicate directly with your target customers. Coupons, invitations, still working well, and it shouldn't be an afterthought on an application. Sometimes it's just easier to include into the first release, or just to include an MVP of it. It's because it just works well with apps since the birth of mobile apps. Think of Uber, Airbnb, DoorDash, etc. Give something in return for your users. If they invite someone else, if they invite their friends, you can give away free credits, you can give away free months, you can even give away cash for them. And getting feedback is the one thing I want to mention here. It's like the most important thing. Figure out a way to get feedback early and often from your target market. UX and QA. The easy way, just to integrate a chat, help desk, or a customer support service. It makes it easier for your users to reach out to you, and they'll be pretty happy about this. If you think that there's going to be too many user complaints or too many messages on chat, that means 2 things. 1, you have to rethink your whole application if you are afraid that no one's going to know how to use it. And 2, you can just start out by giving your email address and asking for the help of a virtual assistant to sort through those emails. Again, QA, error monitoring and reporting, it's it should be ready because reliability is key if you want to make it on the SaaS market. Testing your application, it's like a manual testing is okay. You don't have to think about all those fancy end-to-end testing stuff at this point. Well, if this application, it could happen that it's easier to write end-to-end tests, then go on that way. If it's not easier, you can always test it just manually. There's no need for different unit tests. Business and operations. Legal stuff, get a privacy policy, get a terms of service, get a DPA. It's like there's a lot of services helping with this, or you can always ask for a lawyer. GDPR compliance, if you're in the EU, California state has their own laws. If you're building a healthcare app, there's HIPAA compliance. So don't forget about this to avoid fines. Set up budget alerts. It's like an operational thing to not get a 30K bill for your first month because of an infinite loop in your cloud functions. So set up budget alerts and set up tracking to know more about your users, to know what should you focus on further development. Let's move on to the stack. Let's take a look at some tools that help us. All of the listed tools were tried out either by myself or my team or my friends or someone else I knew. I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of other great tools out there, but these are the ones I know about and has experience with them. These are almost all of them are like no code and low code solutions or services to integrate it easy into your application. It really speeds up development time and reduces costs and time to market rate. Let's start with CRMs. HubSpot is my choice here. HubSpot is a pretty great one. I've used it for many different kind of businesses. I've used it for SaaS. I've used it for classic digital agency business to keep track of offline clients. It worked well. And their pricing is pretty friendly in in the CRM market. The CRM market could be extremely expensive sometimes. So Outseda, it's an all-in-one solution. It's for authentication, it's for billing, it's for CRM, help desk, subscriptions, and so on. I really recommend trying out Outseda. It even has a Webflow integration, so it works pretty well with no-code tools too. And it's like really an all-in-one solution. What else here? Less annoying CRM. Really earned its name. CRMs could be pretty difficult to use. And well, less annoying is less annoying. It's easier to use than any other CRMs I've tried out. But still, HubSpot is my choice here. Next one, error handling. Here, my go-to in mobile is Instabug. I really liked it. Integrated, shake to report, take screenshots, videos, track bugs, even getting user feedback. It's a pretty great tool to getting feedback and error reporting, either in development stage when you want to just show it to the client, and in public stage too. LogDNA. It also logs users' cursor movements on the website. And Firebase here is another all-in-one solution for mobile and web apps. It's like it has authentication, it has database, it has analytics, error reporting, like many other tools. It's maintained by Google. I'd really recommend trying it out. I've used a lot of, I used Firebase a lot in my client projects and in my production ready projects too. My choice here for web is Sentry. It's kind of the most powerful, and it's easy to use, easy to set up different environments between development, staging, production, etc. Analytics. This could be a really messy and hard to develop if you want to do it right. It's easy to just integrate any analytics to track screen views and call it a day. But if you're thinking about engagement, subscription, purchase, etc., you should really take the time to work on it. I don't have a choice here. All of it are pretty great. For example, Fathom, that one is privacy-friendly analytics tool without cookies, but it only tracks basic screen views and basic events, etc. Amplitude and Segment, you can combine those and create the most powerful analytics solution ever, but there's some privacy concerns with that. Hosted authentication, again, it has many options. Magic.link, it has Web3 authentication options now and magic emails. That's pretty cool. There's so many all-in-one solutions here. Firebase, Outset, I've mentioned those already, but here's a new player, Supabase. I like that. Sometimes it's just easier to choose a hosted authentication solution. It takes care of user management, resending emails, suspending accounts, single sign-on, integrating with social media sites, etc. Nextauth is the only different thing here. It's not a hosted thing. It's like a bring your own DB solution, similar to passport.js for Node, but it's like a Next.js only. Emailing. The difference between transactional and marketing emails. Transactional is for like user profile activation, one-time passwords, notifications. Marketing emails for like newsletters, regular emailing, bulk emailing, onboarding emails, etc. Some of these tools are omnichannel and they can handle notifications too. Again, Outsetter, it's pretty much working here. My choice here is SendGrid. Clearly SendGrid, it has a drag and drop email template designer, so your clients can drag and drop their email templates together, and you set up in code the template ID, and it works, and they won't bug you with every small changes on their email text. Customer support, Outsetter, it's twice again. Intercom is maybe the most well-known solution here, but it could be expensive, but also it takes care about like knowledge spaces, help sites, help desk, and everything in customer support and help desk world. Crisp is my main choice here. Billing and payments, and we're almost at the end now. There's two different billing and payment solutions here. One is merchant of record, and the other one is payment services. Merchant takes care of taxes. It really helps because no one wants to deal with accounting and taxes. Usually this costs more. These merchant of record services usually cost like 2 to 5% per transaction, which is a lot more than just a payment service, which is not more than 1 to 3%. My go-to here is Stripe and Pedal. Stripe is just a payment service, but they already started implementing something to deal with taxes, and also they have these one-time payment links, no-code options. The Stripe is like a good all-in-one solution. Pedal is like a merchant of record. It's easier to use, but it's so much more expensive. Sometimes a PayPal integration is needed too. Stripe's API and developer resources are like mind-blowingly great. CDN, DNS, it's always a great idea to use a CDN to serve static files. It really speeds up the website and helps you with the on-the-fly media transformations. You can ask for images, videos, sometimes even audio files in different formats, resolutions, quality on the fly. My choice here is Cloudinary or ImageX. But Cloudflare has now this Cloudflare images thing. For DNS management, I can't recommend Cloudflare enough. I've transferred all my domains and all of my company's domains in the last couple of months to Cloudflare. It's easy, fast, and don't cost much. It could even be for free. CI and CD, it's like it's not a crucial topic to production readiness, but really helps with maintaining code quality, app reliability, or speeds up releases. Again, Firebase has some solutions here. My choice here is GitHub Actions. Hosting, website and web app hosting, Netlify and Versa. That's it. They are really killing it. You can even deploy full JAMstack serverless applications there. Firebase, again, as an AIO solution here too, but compared to any of the previous ones, it's like really hard to use, and it's lacking of some features in terms of hosting. Status pages. These are platforms. These are spamming you with emails and messages if something goes wrong and your app or server is down. It's like not for the users. specifically at first, it's like for you to get some notifications if something happens with your servers. Also, it could be a great addition for your users later to give them the option to check out if there's any outage. There's no preferred choice from my side here. Any of them would work well. So the key takeaways here, instead of spending resources on developing features, spend it on supporting user retention. You can always ship new features later when you know what your users want, when you know your users better. Think about it, how others are started. Facebook, Amazon, they started with a small feature set, like buying books, and they grew. And now you can buy anything on Amazon, and you can host your stuff on Amazon, and Amazon delivers your stuff in a day, and you got it. Take care of security and reliability. No one wants to use a buggy, crashing, non-secure app. Don't forget about your marketing. Great app is like nothing without users. And learn marketing. It's a superpower if you're a developer. There's hundreds of available tools for most of the previously mentioned tasks. Don't need to reinvent the wheel. Use something which is already working. It will be faster to finish and costs so much less than developing it for yourself. Couple of resources if you want to read about these. Make, it's an awesome book for makers from the go-to person in the building public space. Really recommend it for indie devs or independent makers or anyone who wants to build their own product and want to help their clients in building product too, but maybe for your own products. Rework is like more about working in team, working as a company, how to be organized, how to be transparent, how to be productive, and reimagining the work. But Just Fucking Ship is just what its title is. It's a small book about the mindset of just shipping. And there's a production-ready app checklist here. It's a constantly work in progress checklist I made. I'm building it in public. It's already available. It's completely free. I try to build it while working on my projects or my client projects, and always when I figure out that okay, this stuff I really need this to be production ready, I just put a new element into it. It's like a Notion database. It's always growing. Send me a message and I'm happy to send it over to you. You can send me a message like at I am David Levai everywhere. So that's about it. Thank you so much for watching and thank you so much for listening. See you in the Q&A session.